Hello, everyone. This is Superintendent of Schools John Cabral. Today, I want to spend some time walking everyone through the Taunton Public Schools grading guidelines that will be utilized for this remote learning period, which began on March 16, 2020, and will end on our final day of school, which is June 17, 2020. The Taunton Public Schools grading guidelines were created with much input from our principals and central office leadership team, as well as staff. We want to start off by thanking everyone for the ongoing hard work and support that they have provided students during this remote learning period. Your participation and collaboration with the district has strengthened our work to revise and adapt our remote learning program for the current school year. Before we close out the year and turn our attention to contingency plans for the opening of school in the fall, I want to share the grading procedures the district will be utilizing for report cards in grades K through 12. Unlike past years, the grading process for this year has been impacted by the closure of schools, which took effect on March 13th. At that time, you may recall Commissioner Riley's statements emphasized that remote learning does not replicate the instructional experiences for our students had school remained in session. Furthermore, he shared his belief that students should not be penalized as a result of the transition to remote learning. As the district, we wholeheartedly agreed with Commissioner Riley's position. We concur with Commissioner Riley's belief that students should not be penalized for circumstances beyond their control while simultaneously attempting to strike a reasonable balance with our expectations for learning. We also recognize and trust that your child's teacher will utilize their professional judgment when issuing final grades for this period of remote learning. Over the course of the past 9 weeks, we have learned many lessons, not the least of which is that every student's situation is unique. Therefore, grades for this trimester or term will be implemented in a manner that will either maintain or improve the child's academic status as of March 13th. The district has established the following guidelines to support our educators in quantifying the participation and engagement rates of students during this period of remote learning. We have identified 3 rating levels: meeting expectations, partially meeting expectations, and not meeting expectations. Within each rating level, we have provided criteria to assist in the determination of a student's overall rating. We have also asked staff to keep into account any individual circumstances that, in their professional opinion, justifies issuing a higher grade level even if the specific criteria is not fully attained at all times. For our elementary educators who primarily supported paper-based packets rather than online class meetings, we are recommending they incorporate parent and student contact as an additional means of documenting student attendance and work completion. In support of the packets, many educators have been maintaining consistent contact with families using various methods such as email, Classroom Dojo, and Google. Educators may have been asked to use these contact opportunities to confirm students' completion of the packet pages and to inform their decision-making process in regards to grading and determining rates of participation and engagement. A notification will be sent home regarding any student in danger of receiving a grade of not meeting expectations by your building administrator prior to closing grades. With regards to meeting expectations, during the period of remote learning, the students showed appropriate levels of engagement in the learning process by attending class sessions, completing most or all learning activities, and demonstrating persistent and sustained effort in completing assignments and activities. The criteria established includes the student has participated in 70 to 100% of the class activities, which include Google Meets, assigned online interactive activities, or additional activities assigned by their instructor. The student has submitted 70 to 100% of the assigned work, and of the submitted assignments, the work is fully or appropriately completed 70 to 100% of the time. In addition, we are also taking the following into account when determining a student's participation level. The student has not been able to access the class sessions due to lack of internet, for example, but has appropriately completed 70 to 100% of the assigned paper or alternative assignments provided by the school. For partially meeting expectations, during the period of remote learning, the student showed basic engagement in the learning process by attending class sessions, completing some or few learning activities, and/or demonstrating very minimal effort in completing assignments and activities. In some cases, the student has met either the attendance expectation or the work completion expectation, but not both. With regards to criteria, the student has participated in 50 to 70% of the class activities. The student has submitted 50 to 70% of the assigned work, or the student has submitted assignments, the work is fully or appropriately completed 50 to 70% of the time. In addition, we are also taking the following into account. The student has not been able to access the class sessions, again, due to lack of internet, for example, but has appropriately completed 50 to 70% of the assigned paper or alternative assignments. For those who are not meeting expectations, the following would have to have taken place. During the period of remote learning, the student showed limited engagement in the learning process by attending few or no class sessions, completing few to none of the learning activities, and or showing very limited effort in completing assignments and activities. The criteria for students not meeting expectations is as follows. The student has participated in less than 50% of the class activities. The student has submitted less than 50% of assigned work. And of the submitted assignments, the work is fully or appropriately completed less than 50% of the time. In addition, the student has not been able to access the class sessions due to lack of internet, but has appropriately completed less than 50% of the assigned paper or alternative assignments. As you are aware, the final trimester for students began on Monday, March 16th, which coincided with the closure of schools. Throughout our provision of remote educational services, the district has prioritized student engagement and participation. While considering the variance in educational platforms at the elementary and middle school levels, and the unique challenges that many families and students faced during these unprecedented times, the district has determined that grades for third trimester and the final grade for the year should be calculated in the following manner. For trimester 3, students will receive a rating level of meeting expectations, partially meeting expectations, or not meeting expectations based upon their level of engagement and participation. Trimester 3 ratings will only be used to improve or maintain the overall average of trimesters 1 and 2. No child's overall grade will be negatively impacted by trimester 3 ratings. Students' final grades will be calculated by averaging trimester 1 and trimester 2 grades, accounting for the time in which all students had full access to all instruction and supports. Let's look at math, for example. So for math, during trimester 1, a student receives an A. Trimester 2, a student receives a C. When you combine both grades, the average is a B. For trimester 3, the student receives a not meeting expectations. Therefore, the student's final grade will result in a B. Again, the student is not harmed. Let's look at another example for ELA, English Language Arts. Trimester 1, the student receives a B. Trimester 2, that same student receives a D. The overall grade is a C. But during trimester 3, where we were engaged in remote learning, the student receives a partially meeting expectations. That student's C has been increased to a C+. So again, the student's grade improved because of their work or their involvement and engagement during this remote learning session. So we've covered grading K through 7. Now let's take a look and discuss high school grading, particularly for students in grades 8 through 11, as well as our seniors who are graduating this year from Taunton High School. The administration and staff at Taunton High School have looked at a variety of remote learning grading models. Ultimately, Taunton High School needed to create a grading policy that reflects the values and mission of Taunton High School while keeping equity in mind. Taunton High School is unique in the sense that Taunton High is an 8 through 12 high school in which grade 8 students take classes for no credit unless they are in an honors, math, or foreign language course, and students in grades 9 through 12 take classes for credit. Additionally, the Taunton Public Schools is a diverse district with a variety of needs from our student population, which is taken into consideration when developing the grading guidelines below. The following is grading for seniors only. Term 3 report card grades. The Term 3 report card portal was open for staff to enter grades on Wednesday, May 20th, 2020 at 5 p.m. All senior teachers will have until Tuesday, May 26, 2020 to enter all Term 3 report card grades. Entering a final Term 3 report card grade should be done with equity and understanding of student circumstances in mind. Term 4 report card grades. The Term 4 report card portal will be open beginning Tuesday, May 26, 2020 and will remain open through Thursday, May 28, 2020 for staff to enter grades. So Term 4 report card grade should be entered as either a pass or fail. The Semester 2 final grade will be the average of Term 3 and Term 4. So repeat, the Semester 2 final grade, Semester 2 will be an average of Term 3 and Term 4. And we want to note and emphasize that finals will not be administered during this remote learning period. So for example, if a student received a C for their Term 3 report card and received a pass for their Term 4 report card, their final grade would be a B. For all other high school students in grades 8 through 11, the following grading criteria was established. Staff will begin to enter grades for students in grades 8 through 11 once senior grades have been entered and finalized effective Friday, May 29, 2020. All teachers will be able to access Term 3 report card portal for students in grades 8 through 11 on Saturday, May 30th, 2020. The report card portal will remain open through Friday, June 5th, 2020. Students are reminded to reach out to their teachers to confirm they do not have any outstanding assignments. We cannot stress that enough. Students, families, please remain in contact with your teachers to ensure you do not have any missing assignments. We acknowledge everyone's situation and want to continue emphasizing the importance of maintaining communication with their child's teacher as we begin to close out the school year. The Term 4 report card portal will open on Saturday, June 6, 2020, and teachers will be asked to do the following. Students will receive for Term 4 a pass or fail grade. The second trimester grade will be as follows. It will be an average of Term 3 and Term 4, and again, finals will not be administered during this remote learning period. So again, if a student received a C on their report card for Term 3 and received a pass for their Term 4 report card, their grade would improve to a B. That concludes this presentation. And again, I want to emphasize and stress to all students and parents, please maintain continuous contact with your child's teacher. It is important as we enter the final phase in the final weeks of our remote learning period that every student takes advantage of the learning that we have put in place and that students complete as many assignments as possible in communication or while maintaining a steady communication with their teachers. We are very sensitive to the impact remote learning is having on families and students, but we cannot help or accommodate unless we know the challenges families and students are facing. So we want to stress during this home stretch that you maintain steady communication with your child's principal and your child's teachers. Together, we can ensure that the end of the school year, the end of this remote learning period, will be a success for everyone. Thank you, and we appreciate your continued support. We got this, Taunton. Be kind, be safe, stay strong.